Okay, we need to see what the number is.
Well, I think if there actually, is there an invite? Depends what version of Zoom, but sometimes like under more.
Meeting info?
You doing it?
Good, how are you? Good, I didn't know this meeting was.
Okay,
currently
so-
started. An interesting agenda item, so Sally sent that out.
So, yeah, if we
Yeah,
just
right.
give Scott the meeting ID and the passcode,
Likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wish there was a way to like cut and paste. There's no- I don't know if you can actually use mail.
Not easily.
So maybe just,
We could just,
Snap a picture.
we can do that up.
11 and 12, and they
Um,
probably didn't even get my email.
Mike, I think Mike has Scott, I guess I have Scott's.
yeah, so. Yes. Steve.
Got your names, my name is Jamie Jones. That's what I want to help this, right? Okay. Told them that we were inviting him. Yeah.
We can't.
He
There
doesn't have
isn't
the
an
contact
invite
info.
option, but there's the meeting info and the passcode that you can give him.
Can we text him that?
Yes. See. Technology, right? Can't live with it? Yeah.
Oh, we could just photograph it and send it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You wanna do that? Just send them a picture?
Well, sometimes photographing a computer screen doesn't work, but you can.
Yeah,
try.
that's true.
Let's try.
Other townspeople wanted to attend by Zoom. Would they
So,
have received any?
No.
no, unfortunately, because
Okay.
we did this so quickly,
Okay,
and I'm the one who creates the agenda, and I was too busy with my regular job to be able to coordinate with Carol to get the Zoom info, so,
no
and,
problem.
you know, it has to be posted 24 hours in
No,
advance,
There
so.
aren't people out there in a different Zoom session lingering somewhere.
No,
Okay.
there aren't, unfortunately. Yeah, it would have been nice to be able to do that, but.
Okay, I sent it to them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah. Not with Jack Logan, we should put a lot of speaker.
If he can't connect, right, 'cause-
Yeah, I mean, he should be able.
well, it depends on his availability. If he's like in a hotel with Wi-Fi, yeah.
I think he's.
If he may,
Oh, is he home?
I think it's at his place in Tampa.
in Tampa, okay, well, he's got any kind of internet connection, then he should be able to do that, and that would be better than doing it over a separate phone. Okay, so I can close this. Not that it's a bother.
I mean, anyone
We'll
who,
just have to look and see if he.
anyone who wanted to join.
Unless you want me to just call him and we'll just put him on the speakerphone now.
Well, just let him, you can call him and tell him to look at his email.
Or did you text him?
I texted him, I think he did,
I
Mike
texted
also
him.
did.
Okay, did you get all that info we sent you? Well, just log into Zoom. The first set of letters is the meeting number, and then the seconds.
Forget how to get into Zoom.
Oh, yeah, just open Zoom on your tablet. Oh,
Could you put the invite info up again, and I could, in case somebody in my group wants to join?
Oh,
Sure.
You had a way to take a photo earlier.
Yeah.
yeah, So you want me to forward it to you?
Sure, that would be great.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you can forward it
You
to
can't
us.
log in, okay, I'll just call my cell
Oh, why can't you? Yeah,
and, okay, fine. I don't know.
Scott, not tech savvy enough.
You have the image you can easily just
I think it's just company computer, I don't know.
do it when you're
Oh.
close. Oh, that's an Android, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an
That's not
Android.
gonna work then, okay. You could email.
Well,
it?
here,
Yeah. What?
well, or we can just, here, you can take a picture.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right? I was gonna,
Thank you. It just got hidden in the info. Great. It's all me, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, that's gonna be once. Step else.
so let me just ask,
Okay,
He can't connect with Zoom?
no, apparently not. Hopefully you can hear everything.
all right, we can hear you. All right.
Jamie, did you want us to wait?
I don't think we need to wait, but I will send it out now. If there's a different agenda item, maybe than the development on Converse Road area, maybe do that first to get them.
Well, we can do that first. Let's do the warrant article first.
Yeah, it's first on the agenda anyway, so.
Okay. Oh, what, did you actually send an agenda?
I did. It only has 2 items on it.
Okay. There's so much email the last day. Okay, so do you want to speak to the state of the warrant article? Because you were,
I certainly can. Can you officially open the meeting?
oh yeah, all right, so it's 12:08. We are opening the meeting. You have the attendees.
Yeah.
Did you get all the public?
What I'll say is if you all want to say something that's included in the minutes, then I'll want you to make sure I have the exact spelling of your names to put in the minutes, but if you're just want to
Listening.
listen and whatnot, then I don't need your names to be
We-
listed as guests.
I mean, we
So-
generally list the people who attend public meetings.
I'm happy to give my name, and I don't know if I'm gonna speak yet, but it gives me the right to speak, I guess, if I give you my name.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, no, I mean, you can speak and I can get your name afterwards, but I just want to make sure I have spelling correctly, because
No
there's
problem.
so many different spellings, so,
No problem. I'm Jamie Jones,
yeah.
and I give them the address. or-
No, but how do you spell your first?
you are a
Oh,
Temple
I'm
resident.
sorry, JAMIE.
Okay, that's what I have.
That's what you're
Right.
asking.
You are a
Yes.
Temple resident.
And in fact, you should say James if it's official.
Okay.
That's what's on my birth certificate.
Okay, all right. All
And
right,
I am a Temple resident. Yeah, I live at 62 Congress Road.
Okay,
perfect. All right,
Do you want to get everybody? Because I don't know anybody.
Well-
if you want your name on the minutes, or if you're just listening, that's fine.
Alan, ALAN, Wilton Conservation,
oh, what is your last?
Will?
PRESG.
Oh, you're from Wilton. Yep, okay.
All right,
Thank you for attending.
all right. So I can speak quickly to the warrant articles. So in a nutshell, the warrant article we agreed on last meeting to see if the town will vote to rename the Scladany property to the Village Forest and to give the Conservation Commission management responsibilities for the 65-acre parcel. That the select board is okay with us, the proposal to rename it. They are not okay with giving us management responsibilities. And then town council got involved, and I'm not really sure how to interpret what they said, but they're going to be meeting with the select board on Tuesday. And so we'll get more information after that. But what the select board asked was if we could split up the 2 requests, and that way they could support the renaming and not support the other piece.
I have no problem with them splitting it up.
I do, because I think the juice in the warrant article was being able to have some management responsibility to turn it into more recreation oriented. So to just put a warrant article out there to change the name of it is, my view, it's kind of window dressing. I wouldn't even I wouldn't even waste the time to do it.
I agreed with that sentiment until about an hour ago. And I realized naming things matters. And if you name it something other than Scladany, like Village Forest, that may mean, give people a different impression. So it's not worth nothing.
Yeah.
It's not what we wanted, but
Yeah.
baby steps are fine for me.
Okay.
Scott, do you have any input on this?
Yeah, well, to do that, having direct ability to put in trails and things like that was the minimum we were shooting for. And if we're not going to be able to do that without a convoluted process, then I just don't think it's worth pursuing at this time at this late date. I just think, go back to the drawing board and just forget it for this year.
Beth, what do you think?
I actually agree pretty much with Scott. I mean, part of the other problem with renaming it Village Forest is, something that came up in one of the emails, which is that that makes it unclear whether it is, an official town forest.
It's not.
It's not, but then if you call it town forest, that's confusing, right? So I might be in for renaming it, but I'm not sure that's the right name for it, and that's all we've got at the moment. So I'm kind of with Scott that it might be better to just hold off on this until we have, a little more clear idea what we're doing here. Because I also think we should, maybe explore the possibility of asking the town to designate it a town forest. And then that, I actually looked up all the
So
official definitions and stuff, and that would give it some particular standing that might make it easier for us to, get the rest of what we were interested in.
Kathy?
I guess it kind of like here's, so I understand that we could have a warrant article to rename it the Village Forest and explore all possibilities of missing trees. Have a lot of forests with some trails, and if you start carving house lots out of it, and I know number of them and locations and all of that, that is not what we wanted to quote start with this article about. So I'm just thinking that no matter what happens, regardless of whether we even have an warrant article, there's no doubt that people are already trying to carve house lots out of it. And that process is just going to happen. And I just don't think that there's any, there doesn't appear to be any way that the ComCom has any leverage. It's just, we don't have much leverage here. This is town land. The selectmen can do what they wish. And I guess we need to have some kind of process for at least involved.
So what's your position, given that the select board wants to separate them and the lawyers may reject the second? I mean, do we want to rescind the entire suggestion, or to me, it's better to get something rather than nothing.
It's already with missing deadlines already, maybe, and that the select board hasn't done what it wants, and the legal people haven't weighed in. I mean,
This is it. This is it, because the town council is going to be meeting with the select board on Tuesday, and that will be their final, they have to finalize warrant articles.
If it's possible, if we let it flow, it's possible they would break it into two, and the lawyers might say, yeah, it's okay. So if we rescind it now, then we know we're getting nothing. That's why I think
Say that again, if we resend it now.
if we rescind the warrant article, we get nothing. If we let let the planning board do what they need to do, we might get the renaming, which I don't think has no value. And we might get the full control. So let it play.
Let it play
I
the
think we need
existing.
to split it no matter what.
If
because
the select-
planning board, the select board, sorry, not.
Yes.
The board asked us to split.
If the select board asks to split it, and then the second one, the lawyers eventually say, whatever they will agree to, we'll take it, because otherwise we have nothing.
Okay,
So keep the existing article as it is.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
Split it.
no, they're going to break it into
Well,
two,
let them do all that.
No,
let-
well, they asked us to.
They have,
Oh.
okay.
but how are we going to know what the lawyers agree to?
I don't think it, so my guess is if we split it into the two pieces, then at least there's more freedom. That on Tuesday, when the select board and town council meet, if town council comes back and says this is like illegal or whatever for all of these reasons, they can just drop one of them.
Drop one, okay. And then we'll get the renaming with nothing else because it's problematic, but they might say it's okay. Or reword it in a way that the select board is,
So I thought Carol had said that the select board didn't support the original warrant article. They supported the naming, but they didn't support the management piece of it. So
Correct, that's
So-
why they wanted it split,
so
so they could
split is
support one.
throw one away and keep one. It's not putting in two separate warrant.
no,
articles.
no, they just wanted, they wanted it split because they wanted one that they would support. And the other they don't support, but it can still go in front of
The voters.
the voters. So to me, we should let it
I
go.
misinterpreted.
If what we said, if what our proposed warrant article is legally problematic, then they can stop it because it's legally problematic. But if it isn't, so they split it into two.
Okay,
That's fine. And we'll let the people decide, which is right.
yeah, okay.
So I would say, let the select board proceed with what they're doing. Do they need us there?
Unless you have to tweak the language on it.
I
Okay,
mean, we can't tweak the language. I mean, it's not
We
like
can't-
we
we can't,
can't do it without a meeting, so it's,
Oh.
the time is done, the time, if we're doing this in December, it'd be.
Yeah.
At this point, all we can do is split it, decide what we want the language to be now, and send it off to them, and that's it. That's
Yeah.
the last weekend.
okay, so do we have to vote on this or?
Yeah,
Okay, so what would it be? All in favor of letting the select board split the warrant article into two and have the lawyers vet the second one? All in favor? Aye.
well,
Oh,
can we just keep the select board out of it and just say that we are splitting it?
I think that's
Oh.
what we have to.
We are splitting it.
Because we can't, yeah.
That's, they
we
want
should-
us to legally
They
do
want
that.
us to split it and submit two different warrant articles.
Okay, okay.
So that should just be, and just let.
All right, all in favor of splitting the warrant, our original warrant article to have one that renames the Scladany Land Village Forest and the second warrant article to allow the Concom to manage the village forest for trails and recreation or whatever the wording
Yep.
was.
I will get that. from
Yeah. All in favor of that.
Aye.
okay, well, I'll second it first of all.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good point.
Good. Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think that's unanimous. Okay,
I will do that and send those off to Carol today.
And you're on point for the language and you're gonna do that.
Yeah, I'll just literally split it, and send it to Carol.
okay. And if Carol, do we need to ask Carol if we should be part of that, or is it really just lawyers?
Because I've already, if you all disagree, did I copy you on my responses to Carol? I thought
I did see him.
Okay, if you all disagree with what I wrote, Carol forwarded what I explained to the lawyers, so the lawyers understand
Okay,
what our goal is.
and I think whatever the language they come up with, if they say, well, this is legally acceptable, if it gives us anything, the right to go in and pick leaves off trees, I'll take it, right? I mean, we'll take whatever they can get. So I don't think we can lose here. That's my perspective. So yes,
Conservation Commission has the rights to do the management, but what's called a maintenance and improvement of the property.
yeah,
But it will also say that the town has the right to pursue division of house lots in the future as needed, and blah, blah, blah.
yeah, that's probably what the select board will accept. Because that's what one of the selectmen that was at the last meeting kind of voiced that. So, okay. On to what most everybody refers to as John Barry land. So the history is that Fieldstone is going to be presenting, I think, a development plan or something. Preliminary development plan for the John Barry land on North Road. He has properties, I think 4 lots in total, somewhere between 200 and 250 acres for development. There's 4. The 4, as far as I understand. He has 4 lots. Two are about 12-ish acres or 20, and then there's 2 large ones.
According to the tax card, this is the tax card, we think that one of them's wrong. There's a 12-acre parcel. There's a 123-acre parcel, which is the one that goes up North Road there. There's a 62-acre parcel, which is in question. The GIS numbers say it's 102 or something. And then there's a 10-acre parcel.
Yeah, okay,
So those are the parcels.
okay. The 62 to 100 is the
Yeah,
big variance.
That's the unknown piece.
Okay. I think that's the parcel that is on the east side of North Road. The orchard.
No, I think the 123 is on the east side, and then
I'm sorry, the west side,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
west side. I'm west side.
yes, it kind of takes up that whole.
Yep,
whole
yes,
right there.
right. Okay. So, given that information, I think the Concom should have a reaction to the potential risks to natural resources for that development. I did some research on the soil disturbance of orchards. Orchards of that age almost universally used lead acetate, arsenate, and it becomes immobile in the soil, but if it's disturbed, it will become mobile. And I also did research on the little brook that goes through there. That is part of the Stony Brook estuary, which is part of the larger Souhegan estuary, which is part of the even larger Merrimack. So the water in that brook goes to the Merrimack.
And that brook is in the east side of the North Road parcel, that 123 acre piece.
It's in more than one.
Is it in more than one?
It crosses the road.
Oh, okay.
It's from the east, it goes from the west side, crosses over the road, under the bridge, goes into the east side, crosses the bridge, another bridge, I think it's near the old house, and continues further south. I sent I sent everybody an email. It has a picture in there if we want to look at it. If you want to, I don't know if can you share?
The picture that,
You would have to. I don't know if you can do that. It may not be feasible.
I have the one that's.
Yeah. So,
Scott, you joined, right? So we could let you,
and
can you share screen?
he didn't join.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, God, sorry.
He didn't.
All right.
oh, was this?
It's too much work. Okay.
I might be able to join with my phone.
Let me see. The thing is, if I join and share screen, I don't think I can take minutes at the same time
Okay,
because it takes over my screen.
okay.
Laptop. Okay.
So did Mike, what did you, that's the beginning. That's
Yeah.
what I feel we should put in a statement that the estuary is important. It affects downstream larger estuaries and potential towns that you take from that public water supply, the Sahegan water supply, and that any disturbance to the soil could allow the arsenic to be mobile. And there's also concerns we know about if the water management is such that it pools water and releases it after it's been warmed from some sort of basin that will artificially warm the water, which would affect the brook trout, which we don't know that if it's in that brook, but we believe that it's in other brooks nearby. So more than likely there is brook trout in that on the brook that goes through the John Barry land.
So,
Yes,
That brook becomes into Wilton watershed district. Wilton watershed district runs down the brook, the reservoir, it's a backup water system, but it's still on.
yeah,
And it becomes federally protected water at on the Burton Highway 31, which is under jurisdiction of Zerlab.
okay.
say that again on the jurisdiction of.
Zerlab advisory.
Yeah.
So I did talk to Jennifer, sorry, and
Her name is Jen
she said she goes by Jennifer
Beck. Yes, I just wanted to help her full name.
right? And we talked about it. You probably, what's your name again?
No,
Alan. So she wrote a letter to us and the Temple Planning Board, which she would like us to read at the meeting on Tuesday.
Okay,
So we have that, it kind of addresses what Alan was saying somewhat, but it's a little more open-ended as.
Mhm.
You want to do, it's short.
I can
You
read
wanna
it.
do
yeah, go ahead and read it.
Yeah, so the Wilton Conservation Commission has been made aware by abutters with property in both Temple and Wilton, potential development plans under consideration. This is an agenda for our February meeting. We have an interest in the preservation of Millbrook called Putnam Brook in Temple, which is the only Class A water system in the region. Given the contamination that exists on the property, we're concerned about any disturbances and impact that can have on nearby wetlands. I realize that it's early process, but given our shared interest in protecting our natural resources, I wanted to reach out with the hope you are willing to address any concerns we may have as plans proceed. So, I mean, I think, it's a good, warning shot from another town that's not Temple.
She did not mention requesting regional assessment.
Not,
The planning board is going to do that.
Okay.
Oh, there-
planning
That is
board-
part of, yeah, I spoke with Christine.
A regional,
Okay.
what's it called again? Regional effect,
A regional environmental impact.
impact state, okay, okay,
She said, she had mentioned to me and when I was talking to her that that was gonna be the process that they were gonna recommend because.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's within their.
if that's what they do that, when does that get triggered with the planning board?
There's, don't, quote me on this because I'm not 100% there. I know there's a certain, because I'm thinking about for the, storage place, there's a certain acreage,
Okay,
which it seems like this is definitely gonna be over, but it's also probably because that, right, exactly, the alteration of terrain, but also I'm assuming because it's right. I mean, it abuts Wilton. So I assume that by default, I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Okay.
Christine assured me, I totally trust Christine. She knows what she's doing.
she,
That would be a part of.
yeah, she's very, very,
I
very,
think the alteration of terrain spec is like 100,000 square feet, a couple of acres. If you're gonna disturb that much, you have to put in that permit, something
Okay.
like that.
so a regional impact
Yeah.
study will likely be done by the planning board, okay. Do they request, they request it?
It's
They
part of
request it,
It's
yes,
part of that.
okay.
Storage lot place came in at 98,000.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, so, so the abutters asked us to look into it, you know.
well, they informed us
They informed us
of
about
the
it,
project,
and so we started digging into it, and, so Sean and I have been doing the background research, so, I did talk to Jennifer, got the understanding on the Wilton side of the water. And then we drafted up a position statement for Temple Concom.
Yeah.
Which addresses, not like you addressed in that level of detail, but addresses some of the issues that we would see going forward. And we wrote the document to function as like a kind of like a preliminary due diligence checklist. If you want to do a project of this nature in this environment, these are the things
Yeah.
that we would request / require that get done from a diligence perspective. And then most of it is just figuring out what was the historical use of the property, how far back does it go? It certainly lines up with the lead arsenic
yeah,
issue of-
Yeah.
as a pesticide. And then how we would go about mapping that property to figure out if there's contamination there, because that's the real question, right? You can assume there is.
well, I mean,
But-
if the, yes, I mean, the potential arsenic is one of the biggest things. The water management is completely independent, which is a concern.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, so there's two elements, the land.
Yeah.
Contamination, the disturbance of that, and then the associated migration, which potentially could impact the surface and the subsurface water.
yes.
Yeah.
So if I looked at granite, my, no, I did, if you look at granite view, you will see that the eastern side of the John Barry land, lists, an aquifer underneath most of it, not the western side. So yeah, there's the potential for affecting that aquifer, given that if that is indeed there, it's relatively large. It's underneath, it's under the area of the house, and it runs along the brook
Right.
there on the east side. So yeah, water is a concern. On a real different element, I communicated with Eric Foley.
Yeah.
He has done extensive research on the flora and fauna in the town forest, which is in a butter just north. And he may show up Tuesday. I'm not sure. But he voiced that there are some aspects in the town forest, like the black gum, which he said is relatively rare for the area, and he's not sure if it's on John Barry land or not. But he said he does know that there's a 5 foot in diameter red oak. And he says it's probably the largest red oak in Temple. I don't know where that is either.
On the John Barry land.
On the John Barry land, yeah. So, I think, I don't know if, I think when we had the NRI done, that, Jeff and a Moosewood Ecological wouldn't go on land unless they had permission. So I'm relatively sure they did not walk the land. So we don't really know what, what kind of flora and fauna are on there, other than the people who historically know her. Which I don't know who, I mean, there are people I know who grew up who probably roamed all over that land, but I don't know how we would get hold of that information, and it's just hearsay of that sort.
Let me make a comment. So being Class A river stream, and knowing what other little streams are like in Temple, like near my house, where there's definitely blue turtles and spotted turtles. Those two species of turtles are concerned. I believe if they are not on the property, they almost have to be on that property. And so those are two species of concern. And the brook trout themselves, highly likely. I walked up to the stream on Putnam Road where there's a bridge over Putnam Brook. The brook, and trout were swimming away from me, like scattering for cover. So there are trout in the stream. That was in the middle of the summer when there was a drought, and so there are trout making it in that stream, which is an indicator that brook trout can live there and breed. So those are species that should be looked into just from that basic level of knowledge. I'm very, very few people have really been back in there along that stream to where that pond is.
Right. Scott, are you familiar with the species that Marty Connolly?
The bat species.
Yeah, they found a bunch of, they're all abutters. Marty had somebody do research or whatever, had proof of this. I was wondering if it's likely those species are also in that,
That's definitely probable. That's under the bark trees, and they found it, and he received $80,000 from the federal government to protect that.
Right.
Species.
We don't know if it's on the John Barry land, but they're abutting lands effectively, right? You do think we should mention that?
We're trying to get to it.
Yeah, okay.
So for this meeting on Tuesday then, so we've got some ideas on diligence and questions that we would pose back to the developer or the planning board or whatever on just soil management, mapping the area, determining if there's a level of contamination. So we can talk through that, clearly, and then we add in a conversation of the natural resources, the wildlife corridor, the stream issues.
Yeah, there's the brook trout, and then there's everything we don't know, which is adjacent. We know flora and fauna in the town forest. We know of things on the Connolly land that are.
But these are all just data points that that we use to tell, the planning board and.
These things may be there.
Be looked at.
They may be there, and if they're there,
Forward with the project.
may require special treatment. We would know if they're there. It's gonna be hard to tell this time of year, but I mean, it would be good to do a research analysis on the property when it's actually, not
But
winter.
there's 4 or 5 elements of diligence that we just need to get out on the table.
Yes,
So.
yes,
So we should decide kind of what they are. I mean, I have my own view of it, right? But we should decide what they are, how we want to deliver that information. Do we even have the time during the,
yes.
community-
There's public statements, right? Are we constrained by time?
No, when I redid the agenda this morning, I took off all times.
Okay,
Yeah, so, but the thing that I've been thinking of both as the person who has to take the planning board minutes as well. This is a long, nice and very comprehensive letter that you've drafted. What I would recommend, rather than reading the whole thing, which is gonna like send people to sleep. For one, we can finalize the language as long as we do it not between ourselves, but as long as we each send our individual edits, and we can include Scott and Marie and Clay, send our edits directly to you, and you're responsible for putting them all together.
Yeah.
Then we can do that, and that way we don't have to, because it's gonna be hard to edit the letter right now. That's not really the point of meetings. And the other thing I would say is, for the purposes of reading something at the planning board meeting, in the very beginning, let's do a summary paragraph that maybe has a few list items that
Bullet
like
points.
bullet points.
bullet point.
And that way you can read the summary and the bullet points and then say, we are attaching the rest.
Yeah, I was actually only gonna read the last paragraph in the bullet points that I had on my view of diligence before you even approve a project like this. The owners of it need to provide us with some information that tells us, hey, is this thing contaminated? If the answer is we don't know, then here's a mapping plan that you need to execute. So that's all I was gonna do. I wasn't gonna read.
I mean, you could move that up front if you
Yeah,
wanted,
yeah.
just to.
I would just leave it
Yeah.
the way it is in the letter.
Okay,
You can leave it as-
Speak to a totally
Okay.
different thing.
Okay,
So that was my thought.
so,
I don't need to lecture people on the history of contamination and pesticides.
No,
in the orchard.
I don't have no problem giving them documentation on it,
Right.
like the science behind it, because if,
All that.
this is maybe the first big orchard that would be developed in Temple. I mean, there's little houses here and there, but this is,
Yeah.
I don't think we've had a large development on top of orchard before. So we need to make sure we do the right thing.
and we have to have that done by like Tuesday morning. I mean, there's no, we can send it to the planning board. I can get it uploaded to Dropbox, the public Dropbox, so everyone can see it before the meeting.
Do you
So
need to have that before the meeting? It's in the.
if you want, I can attach it to the minutes afterwards, but if you want everyone to be able to see it beforehand, I mean, that's what I do normally. If someone
Okay.
sends me something that's gonna be discussed at the meeting, I just upload it to Dropbox and that's there
Yeah.
for everyone.
Well,
And that would be polite.
yeah. If you guys send me your edits, I can when do you want it by Tuesday morning?
Yeah, just send it
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me.
We've got 2 days, and, so are there other elements that we haven't mentioned that are, I missed one from Eric. He said that a development of that size is going to introduce a lot more traffic.
Yeah.
Interesting that he pointed this out, and that they might need to open up Putnam. I mean, what's it called? The road there?
Putnam Road.
Putnam Road, right? Putnam. The bridge is out, right? That's why the bridge isn't safe. So that's a public road that they stopped, right? They're not planning to, they may need to reopen it depending upon the development, right? So that would be something that is of a concern, that there's going to be a lot more traffic up and down on those roads.
So we have the land
that really is a planning board.
Yes, but it's, I mean, from a perspective of, wildlife and resources, more cars cause, there's a ramification to it,
Okay,
So we have the land contamination issue, say I'm covering that. You cover the wildlife.
well, no, let's have everything in
One
this
document.
letter, in one document from the.
We can-
Concom. That's
we
why I'm
can-
saying, we'll give you our edits.
We could, right, for the document, but if we want to break up how we present it individually, then we can do that,
Do it that way, because I think it has more power if you have multiple individuals speaking in their expertise, right, about what they're concerned about.
Yeah.
And,
Okay, before we get to how we present it, or who's going to talk about what, are there other topics that we haven't talked about that is our concern about this project?
it was a lot of-
How about the public? Yeah, does the public have any comments?
Great question.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Which is, first of all, what you're talking about right now are like the core requirements. We don't want toxins. We don't want, what if this were to be developed, what would happen and how bad that could be for, from that perspective. But the other perspective is what opportunities does the town and other groups have in other uses for this land? And I would wonder if that's something that the Concom would spearhead a strategy to develop a strategy around maybe expanding the town forests. Maybe there are other opportunities which we need leadership on, and whether that comes from Concom or if it's a butters group or other conservation streams that should be considered and pursued with other interested parties.
I can respond to that. I probably have the most Concom experience. So the Concom has attempted to make plans for the town. Lands, these lands are important, it usually just, people do what, we don't have the ability to buy land. We need private owners to engage with that. So we cannot.
They know that. The town can
Well,
buy land.
we don't have.
The town could buy land and has the Scladany land we were talking about earlier. They did, but they would have to take out a bond to do it and vote to do it, because it's money that it would be something the town would have to vote to do. It's not part of the budget.
Right.
Anybody can buy land, including a town, but from our experience with the Scladany land is, what's it, 60 some acres. That's very close to the center of town.
Okay.
Just off of General Miller, or it's on General Miller, between General Miller and 45, that little wedge just beyond the farms.
Mhm.
It took a lot of people arm twisting to get the town to buy that 60 acres. The John Barry land's 150, 250 potentially. I don't think that the town would be motivated to buy that land. But others maybe. We can we can profess the values of keeping the land natural, expanding the town forest. We could turn parts of it into a park, but we want more contiguous natural land. There's large swaths that land is currently part of that's undeveloped and undisturbed. I mean, there's great value. We can speak to that, but we cannot. Our efforts to say, please conserve this particular land, we have no ability to do that. We can.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Conservation Commission.
Okay.
The
town may have that ability, but this organization doesn't.
We can't. We could initiate it, but they would just shoot it down. I mean, you heard what we're trying to do. We're trying to get permission to put trails on Glenany land, and they're not sure they want to allow us to do that. So there's history there that you could research in our minutes. We won't go into it in here.
Okay.
But it's all public. So I mean, what are historically what the Temple Concom does is we can financially assist when people want to privately conserve their land, or they want it to hand it over their land to a conservation agency such as Piscataqua or Monadnock Conservancy or the Society for Protection of New Hampshire Forests. Various organizations can interact with, and they're like, hey, Temple, could you help out a little? Cover the costs of the easement, cover costs of this, so that they don't have to put out money to conserve their land. But to actually buy the land is something that's very, very rare that the town does, and the Concom is never done. We just don't have that money. So, I mean, it's all about money. If we were a wealthy town and we had a budget in the millions, we could do it, but we don't. So it's just the finances of Temple and a lot of the area. Alan, is this unusual?
Usually, we get the easement, somebody else buys the property.
Right, that's in line with what we do. Pay for the easement and somebody else.
That being said, I would contact this Spotify and a few others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
I did
we-
actually yesterday, I talked to
Chris Wells, yeah. I mean, there's organizations that might be able to. We've never done that unless we knew the owners were on board, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, the whole project could flip in another direction next month, you know, so if you, at least for an interest or advisory point. And with dealing with them, a lot of it is just timing, what they got going on for projects and what they have for money.
Yeah,
So everything's sort of
right, okay. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Mike, you already contacted
I
Chris.
talked to Chris yesterday for a while, just to give him a heads up.
Okay.
And tell him and explain to him our strategy for the initial contact at the planning board, and whether he thought that made sense, and whether there were things we should stay away from in discussions. And it was interesting. He said, well, the first thing I want to know is who owns the land now. And,
Yeah.
you know, because it's unclear to me anyway.
There's
I read I went into the county deed of records, and there doesn't appear to be any link to a new landowner. So it's still labeled. as
there are people in town who are in communication with.
Yeah,
so-
okay,
So, yes.
Oh, sorry.
Alec McMartin, we're in a butter in Wilton. I spent yesterday.
You're on the planning board.
I'm on the planning.
Oh, and you're also in a butter.
And we're in a butter.
Okay, so you're on our east side. Okay,
There is paperwork in the probate court that was done under a waiver of administration, which means it's minimal paperwork, but it does tell you who the owners are,
Okay.
which are the two heirs.
I believe that one of the heirs actually lives in Wilton.
That's correct.
So I don't know names. I don't have that information, but they're not far. And others in town,
We have that we have their names.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
So-
I have names and contact info. One's in Wilton, the other fellow's in Wisconsin.
Okay.
we were not going to breach that because that's not normally what we do. I mean, we would support people's ideas to help them conserve, but we don't have any power to stop this other than what we've discussed, which is pointing out the risks to natural resources. So,
And that's the way it is with all contracts, right?
well, I mean, look, if we had 3 million in our account, we could maybe play games with it, you know, but we don't. So, it's not something that we could initiate. We can help, but we can't initiate it. without people who have bigger pockets, I guess.
If I understand it, the way, what you're proposing is that you can support it, but you can't drive it and fund it.
Right.
We can't fund it, clearly.
Clearly.
We can assist if people want assistance.
Yeah.
There's people who don't, they do it completely all without us, I mean, and there's an argument the temple needs more homes. So, we're not going to necessarily say we're against the development. We have to just point out the problems with that direction that have to be addressed. Would we like the town forest to be expanded? Absolutely. But, we don't have the power to make the town do that directly.
Yeah, you can suggest, I guess, that the housing more than likely would not be for temple residents in that development. The price, the cost of the houses,
We need to see what that.
well, that's the direction
Right.
Whichever side you want to go on.
Right, we need to see what they're proposing.
To Jamie's point, would we add those points into here so that this letter isn't just negatives, it's also,
This isn't negative at all. It's all.
well, I don't mean negatives from the,
Restrictions.
right, thank you. From the restrictions as opposed to also, here are some reasons, additional reasons why it would be great, just to have them out there in the public, which I think is a valid, just to get people thinking about.
that's value in,
Maybe we
the
could.
values in leaving it
Hey,
undeveloped.
Like, right, I mean, even
Opportunities to explore.
some of
You could
it,
just-
Yeah.
right.
Just openly, opportunities to, that the town may have to explore around expanding. If we don't say we can do it, but
Yeah,
explore the possibility of expanding the town forest or preserving some land through other conservation entities that might have pockets deeper than the towns.
yeah. I mean, there's all, without seeing what they're planning, if it was a PRD and the houses were all near the intersection and the outskirts were all the undeveloped part, that would be less offensive. If they also treated
Yeah.
were sensitive about the other topics.
But it doesn't change the fact that it's a potentially contaminated environment.
It doesn't change that.
Establish some guardrails around it as the
The-
thought process is
Yes.
beginning to develop it.
The
That's kind of.
the arsenic in the water are very, very sensitive aspects, affecting the brook and any kind of contamination. That's our greatest concern, and whatever happens there, that's whether they put one house or 40 houses or 50 houses or whatever, our concern wouldn't change necessarily.
Do you know what you can ask of a proposal submittance to around sampling the soil? Can you say we need 30 samples done by a third party that is, or what are the guidelines?
Again, I'm not an expert in the space, and maybe you guys are, but if you read the literature, they make a grid and they sample the grid on contaminated lands, right? So they'll say, and for lead arsenic stuff, they look at multiple depths in the soil.
Okay.
So you establish this big grid and you take 3 or 4 samples from every piece of the grid. And the grid could be, I don't know.
So it's a standard process that we don't have to develop ourselves.
Oh, yeah, no, there's
Yeah.
stuff out there that tells you
I mean,
how to statistically validated methods to sample large pieces of land for contamination.
Okay, and that's the environmental impact study that you're.
that would probably have to, I would think that would be included, right? Especially if they know that it's has, Old Orchard land.
That I was gonna try to make, in this, let's see, I don't have my reading glasses, so I can't really see what it says, but, I'm gonna say the Temple Conservation Commission recommends the following diligence activities: create a soil management plan before any activities of land or land disturbances. Conduct an environmental site assessment to include historic orchard operations, activities, historic use of lead arsenic pesticides and other legacy pesticides. Map the proximity of all that. in the orchard groves to known watersheds, particularly in the Class A watershed and known aquifers. Conduct a statistically valid soil sampling plan. Maybe I should say create, but plan should include soil samples from multiple depths and be conducted based on a grid sample and analysis protocol. That's all in the literature. It's all standard, full it appears standard. And then conduct ground and surface water screening based on aquifer depth, soil permeability, topology, relative to the Class A stream. So and my thought process is just as kind of an initial conversation. Okay, if you want to develop this property, consider it. These are the diligence things that the owners should be bringing to the table before permitting process even starts. Right? That's
Yeah.
Okay. And I say a couple other sentences like that in the bottom, but just kind of. Right. Just throw it down, stake it, put the stake in the ground. This is kind of what we're thinking.
Yeah, and you hit that point that I was asking about right in your last statement around the sampling, and I wonder if you can even refer to the standards, to make it even more pointed.
Yeah. There is I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term, but there's a ASTM standard for, I think it's an ASTM standard for soil sampling for looking for contamination. I can reference it all in there.
My fear is they'll come back and say, oh yeah, we put it into a grid, we did our samples and they're negative. And it's like, wait, but what?
But you try to put yourself into a gatekeeper position that you need to see that and approve that.
Right.
So I mean, that's my thought anyways.
And at some point, you may want peer review of whatever's.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, we definitely need independent peer review
Yeah.
of these kind of studies,
Yeah.
like somebody, yeah, I mean, like whatever the terminology you use for the ground, like an independent scientific study of what's actually in the soil. It may come back that they didn't use lead arsenate. Okay, well, that relieves certain concerns, but if it's there, we should know the concentrations. So,
Oh, dear.
I had asked somebody to ask the Connollys, the sons, for any information they have on the land and they hadn't gotten back to me, so maybe I'll reach out to Chris directly, yeah.
Well, I guess one thing to notice that there are brook trout that have been observed by the neighborhood.
Yep.
You made that question earlier, but that we can
That's
confirm that.
confirmed, yeah.
That's been, I'm a budding, I share that same stream and I, see the brook trout there. And my nephew fishes and he's caught the spotted brook trout from that stream. I don't know about the turtles, but that would be something, interesting to explore as well. But as far as contamination goes, I can tell you that there has been one sample done and contamination was found. I don't know if that needs to be part of it.
Say that again?
There was a sample of the soil of Berryland done before, I don't know how many years ago it was, probably 15 years ago or something or more, that was reported. We don't know who it was, but somebody, it was sort of like a, if we need those, we could, but the answer is we probably don't need those. They're gonna have to do their own anyway.
Yeah.
Well, they would have to,
Yeah.
I mean,
You don't want to do point sampling on this. You want to do.
Right.
if there's evidence that it was there before,
There is.
then that almost guarantees they have to do that test again to see if that test was
And
accurate.
one of the things that when I was talking to Chris Wells, the PLC head, he said, make sure that when you talk this through that you want to sample the orchards, but you also want to make sure you sample the processing locations, where they stored the apples or.
That's on 17.
Is that, say that again?
It is on the little piece.
Oh, the little 10 acre?
Yeah, the 17, it's tax map lot 17. It's about 12 acres. It's at the north end, it's Putnam Road goes
Yeah,
around
yeah.
it. There was a processing
Okay.
built there.
Yeah.
Across the street.
Proston Berry House.
Right.
And
Right across from the old.
Yeah.
are there
Yeah.
are there old,
Barn there or something.
Is-
Yeah, that's-
the barn is still there?
The one that across yeah, with the
And
process.
the processing house is
Yeah, I
caving
think there's a
in,
barn behind that.
There's a processing house.
and that's caving in the roof of that. It's across the
Do,
street.
do we know, does anybody know if there's anything in there?
Ask Chris.
Remember Ed Adder?
Yeah. And we were in his barn.
We were in his barn, we were looking at bags of stuff that
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, and it was like, oh my God.
Oh, it could be chemicals. I see.
Yes, yes. It wasn't simply lead arsenate. It was other things that they used that they don't use anymore.
Yeah.
So this was a different part of Temple, different orchard. It's an orchard. It was an active orchard. They have a barn, and it has a concrete floor, thankfully, and it's a healthy building.
Mhm.
But it's filled with, as if they just stopped, like, stop farming, all the equipment, all the chemicals, it's sitting there.
Do you know how long ago he stopped farming that orchard?
I think it was in the eighties.
It was in the 80s.
That would make sense. That's what I've heard a lot of a lot of the orchards. Somewhere between 1950s and 1980s is when everything stopped. So,
We moved to Wilton in the seventies, and you could still hear the sprayers going through the orchards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Eric Foley used to sit out there and watch the migrant workers picking the apples when he was young. So
I've seen-
oh wow.
Yeah.
he knows a lot about when they stopped. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I think the history is just, the real history of it is useful as you start building your plan to, sort through this.
Okay. So do we want to talk about how we present? Whom? What would you like, Mike?
Well, if it were me, I would say somebody present on what we think the why. I would keep it in a diligence thing, because we don't even know if there's a plan yet, right? So we're gonna speak.
But they're
before-
presenting something.
So, right, so we've been notified of this potential development, and here's our concerns. You stand up and speak about wildlife and water. Maybe Beth stands up and speaks about municipal impact of a large development area, and then I would try to speak about what we would like to see as an initial diligence plan that the owners / developers present back to us before any permitting stuff starts happening, so that we get a clearer picture of what's going on that property. Because I think, you can do all the research you want. It's pretty well defined what people do when they encounter these contaminated orchards. And again, I
Yeah.
think it's on us to put that into the record that, we know what the potential issues are. So A, find out if there's an issue, and B, we're gonna have to come up with some remediation issues.
All right.
So,
So you want me to start? Is that what you thought?
yeah, I mean.
Okay, I have no problem.
But I'm just thinking of the bigger message.
Yep.
Or we just go more succinct and we say, hey, we know there's an orchard here, we know there's contamination. We presume there's contamination, you need to figure that out quickly before you come back in and present a real plan for a development activity. So, I mean, because again, if I were a select board or planning board guy, and would I want to be in the position of permitting something that's on potentially residential properties on potentially contaminated land, I probably won't want to deal with that liability hanging over my head.
I don't know if whatever we bring up is going to affect what the planning board does so much,
No,
but
but it's-
we could ask, they may just turn around and agree and say, throw it on to to the developers and or the planners, like, you have to account for this. Like we,
It is the developer that
yeah,
absorbs all that liability.
Right.
But we don't really know, you know who the developer is?
I don't know if that's even been
Right,
done
I
yet.
don't know if that's been laid out.
I don't
or
think,
not,
I
so-
don't think it's been done.
So it really goes back to the owner,
So,
Fieldstone's client. they're the ones that are gonna be on the.
Fieldstone's coming up with a plan, and that's, it probably would, they may have to do it, because if they change their plan, if what we present is going to change their plan, then similar to the storage facility, they will have to go and change it and do those studies or whatever, they may or may not have to deal with the studies, but
Just work through all
yeah,
of it,
right, okay.
Yeah, I don't think you know at this point whether they're coming in for conceptual, or they've actually got a plan in their back pocket that they
We
want
don't
to talk to
know
you
that,
about.
right.
And I know-
Right, we don't know, but we're going to at least present the risks regardless of what they present, because there will be risks no matter what happens. So,
You might dominate that whole meeting.
well, I don't know,
Bruce, that's the other thing too,
We-
right? If there's a time.
we don't want to annoy them by using up the entire night haranguing about it. Well, a lot of that can be in the documentation, like we could just say, the major points, this is our concern. This is a scientifically concerning thing. This is the state of the trout in the water, and if you, and it doesn't have to, it just has to be potent and set, clear,
Right.
with some sort of backing, I think the evidence we should throw into, forward to them or print it out. I had links of some of the things that were scientifically finding.
Yes, I will put those in the minutes,
Should-
and actually, we could put them in that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, like as links?
Yeah.
Okay, and is that how things are done? I mean, some of those things are kind of big. Do I have to print it out for all of them?
No,
Okay, good.
so Bruce usually prints everything, but everyone else just uses it electronically.
Okay, oh, great, because, I mean, the era of printing out 30 pages of paper is,
I referred to like USGS in the letter.
Yeah.
But I didn't put in the specific references. I was thinking, that's another day. We can put in very specific references to all this, but.
It doesn't take but a few seconds to literally put in a URL link
yeah,
into
Yeah.
the live
I know, I was just in
document,
ways.
so.
and we just want to make sure they have a lot of information. If somebody so wishes to look at the scientific study of disturbing old orchards in New England, they'll have a link to look at it. And so we just have to mention it, and when they say, well, what's your proof? And it's like, look at the link, so it doesn't have to be, we don't have to prove them the science, we just have to present the concern.
Yeah, so. Could you also have a little disclaimer, like this is obviously, I mean, you put everything down, but this isn't an exhaustive and complete list, because we have not even seen a proposal.
We haven't seen the proposal, and we haven't even been on the land to look at the nature, so there's.
All of their concerns.
Right, this is, given what we know by looking at the property from the street and its history.
Without
These,
seeing a proposal yet.
right, this is what we know without knowing anything else. These are clearly in play.
Yeah, so I say the initial position of Temple Concom is not intended to be all inclusive. However, the commission believes that the detailed due diligence is necessary to limit the town's liability in issuing the necessary permits, allowing residential development on parcels of land that could very well be contaminated. So just kind of leave it open ended a little bit,
Thank you.
Is it the town's liability? You can say that.
It's just a.
It's somebody's liability.
It's somebody's liability.
It's somebody's liability.
You can be sure that if you approve it, as a town,
You-
someone's gonna come back to you.
Okay.
Be hunting for
Yeah,
insurance.
there's some
Right.
due diligence, there's negligence if it's not done.
Yeah,
what's
okay.
The guy with most money, right? Maybe that's the town.
As long as the word liability is in there, to whom it is.
Chris, I talked to Chris about, using specific words, and he thought that's a good word to use.
Okay, yeah, I like the word.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I
We
mean,
can also, once we fine tune like our list, we can also just through email to Mike to
Yeah.
say, I'll speak to this, like I'll say a couple of sentences to this point.
Yeah.
So we don't have to
Yeah.
decide everything.
okay,
Yeah, maybe maybe, I'll start it and I'll summarize the diligence points and then point to Sean for wildlife, maybe point to Beth or Kathy for municipal concerns, if we get that organized. I mean, but.
What do you?
Did
mean by
you put Beth,
Like
do you
said,
want to speak?
30 houses are.
I really have standing.
Oh,
on this
Okay.
and all, or the-
Stop saying Beth.
I don't really have standing to speak to this.
Okay.
Yeah, Beth's new and some people do not like to speak publicly, so,
Well, I don't mind speaking publicly. I just want to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
well, okay.
Well,
That's always important. isn't it?
Yeah. In the process of editing the letter, if some point stands out to you that you'd like to speak about.
Yeah,
by
yeah,
all means.
that would, yeah, because I
Yeah.
haven't even seen the letter yet, so I don't.
We have to keep Beth on our district.
Yes,
What?
sometimes.
I have a distro and I removed people who are no longer on the Concom that were on my distro. Now I have to add Beth, so I'm sorry, Beth.
Or you can use that
Did-
email
did-
that goes
did
to
you
all
get
of us.
my-
Yeah, we could do that, yeah.
Unless, did you send it? When did you send
This
it?
morning, probably around 9 o'clock, I sent out.
Oh, I
these-
might just not have been
Oh,
able
okay.
to look at my email.
Okay. So,
Okay, so I guess if you want me, you guys feed me some more
yeah,
bullet points, I'll build them into the body of this. We'll speak to the high points of it during the meeting. We'll enter both our letter and you're gonna read it, right? I think Jennifer said you were coming to the meeting.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make it or not, but
Okay.
someone from our group will be there.
So
okay.
if one of the Wilton representatives wants to read your letter, or
We got a meeting too.
you do, okay, okay,
Do you read the letter? That was-
okay, you want us just to get that? Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So we'll read the Wilton letter, we'll read the summary of ours, and we'll all speak to our PowerPoints, I guess.
okay.
And then just see what the proposal looks like,
Yes, yeah.
right?
I think the term you're looking for is off-site improvements related to whatever that development is bringing. It's
Oh,
gonna
okay,
change
okay,
the infrastructure.
Yeah, just be quiet. That wasn't a letter from the commission. Letter from them.
oh, so that's just Beth's letter,
Well,
Jan,
Jennifer. Beth.
oh, sorry.
We did not hold
Jennifer.
a meeting. We did
Okay,
I
okay,
think you're having a meeting
two
same
things,
night.
two things.
To discuss that.
That won't be.
okay. So when I reference it, I'll just make sure that I reference it as from Jennifer Beth.
Conservation.
Yeah, okay, all right,
The letter you have already.
yeah, correct. Yeah,
Okay.
I sent it to you guys.
Yes, okay.
Just one, another side question, just about some of the disused roads or right of ways. Does the Concom have any involvement in making those class 5 roads again or upgrading road status? Do they have any involvement in that?
Not
No.
other than just citizens.
I'm not,
Okay.
you mean make a class,
I think-
bring a class 6 road back to life?
Putnam Road is closed. and you
Right.
mentioned, hey, they may have to open that up, and I was like, well, that's just what a developer would love, is to have that free road frontage, I'd almost rather see it.
Which road?
Putnam Road.
Oh, but that's,
It's still a town road.
that's still a town.
It's
road.
still- So
Okay.
it's still, yeah, they closed the road. I don't know if it's classified as a class 6 yet, because it was used not that long ago. They only stopped using it because of the health of the bridge.
I think they closed the bridge.
They did, yeah.
They haven't closed.
They didn't close the entire road,
They haven't
okay.
reclosed.
But there's nobody else though on that road though, right? I think
No.
houses wise.
Well, on the,
Just the very.
on one side, there is, right?
Well, at the very end, yeah.
Area, you have, Stonegate Road.
Oh, yeah.
Stonegate, yeah, that's at the
on
one
other
end.
side, But
That-
on this side. it's-
Not on the other side, no. So I mean, the road's not closed, so
It's still a class.
You can still drive down there.
yeah, you can still, it's still managed, but the bridge is closed.
So even though there's one house on that section of road.
Yeah.
It's not a driveway like some of the other public roads have been reclassified.
Yeah, right. It's not,
It's not, yeah,
it's a real road, yeah. It's
Okay.
a real road that just, you can't, both dead ends, I guess, because of the bridge.
Right, I see.
But, I mean, if that is frontage, right? That is frontage that they would probably want to use and the town would have to repair the bridge.
That's where all.
Or not, and then it would just push all the traffic down on North Road to get to Webster, but, we don't know what they're planning.
That's the next step. Okay.
Right, we don't know what they're planning, all of that, it's a concern that the town would have to
Right.
deal with improving.
There is a
Putnam.
class 6 road that goes
Oh, yeah.
up here, which used to be called Foster Road or Old Foster Hill Road,
Mhm.
which goes past the cemetery.
This is you right here.
Yeah,
That's on the west side,
it goes westerly, yeah,
okay,
and,
between, like somewhere between the Connollys and
so that.
Converse.
That comes all the way down to the Connolly's lot, yeah.
Okay.
From Converse Road,
I just want to take.
yeah. So this Foster Hill Road.
Yeah,
And the cemetery's right about here,
I did not know that was there.
and then there's Old Avery Road, which is another old driveway. But this is class 6 currently, so
Yes.
they can't do anything on that as front, that's not considered frontage, but, and this group wouldn't play into reclassifying the road.
No, that would be
either.
the select board.
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering, but those,
So that class 6 road is like one of the borders then?
it is, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So that's a border.
Well, that's the border of their of the John Barry land, it looks like. So,
And there's.
oh boy, they might want to make that,
They were sure.
they might want to open up
Yeah.
that road then, yes.
Um,
If they were going to put houses on it, frontage.
Yeah, and there are some questions about the tax maps aligning to the
Yeah.
deeds, actually. This lot may not actually be part of their holdings.
I see.
But I don't know, that's nothing for this group, I don't.
No, I mean, it's hard to tell it's hard to tell if the tax cards are even accurate, right?
Right,
Like this.
yeah, this used to be 2 lots here, and it was subdivided by John's father to be this and this. These are official lots here.
Okay.
Now this, there's more questions about, and this one certainly, to me, raises the biggest question. John Barry himself thought my family owned this piece when he talked to Eversource. Never pursued it, never wanted anything to happen to it. But if you look at the deed, which I just did recently, it doesn't associate to this. It's impossible to make it.
It's hard to
fit, so-
figure that second.
Yeah.
Did you know John Barry?
Yeah, I met John Barry.
Yeah, I never did,
Okay.
so I was just, it's,
My neighbors, the monks at the Buddhist
Yeah.
Monastery across the street have spoken to him more than I have as well. I know that one of them's attending here, one of the abbots, just so you know.
okay,
So they may have more insight into, the history and what he may have been thinking about some of the parcels.
yeah, there were Concom members who knew John well, previous members, and
Yeah.
talked to him repetitively to try to get him
Yeah.
to conserve, so,
And I've spoken to
Yeah.
Bruce Cantner and Lincoln
Bruce-
Geiger already about this.
yeah,
They-
they're the two.
More history on this.
Yeah.
And Lincoln was gonna speak with, John Kyle, even though he's moved away, he may have some history or advice or
Yeah,
interest even, who knows? But I wanted to see like where the leadership might come from in any kind of conservation of this land, and it doesn't seem like it can even come out of this.
we can't really spearhead with that unless we have somebody who, with some money,
Right.
and they say, we'll help
But you
you.
can't look for that.
We are constrained by what the town has given us, money-wise.
Right.
We can't go out and fundraise, or at least we don't do that.
They don't have, I think Lincoln said that they might even have some funds, the town, for purchasing land, like $120,000, he said. Is that not true?
No, it's probably the Concom's fund, which we have, we spent some of that last
Yeah.
year. How much do we have now?
Fund which gets a piece of the land use change tax comes to us. And then last year we spent over 100,000 working on the Fisk Hill conservation, and the year before the west property up on
Peterborough,
what's that?
Peterborough Road.
Old Peterborough.
Peterborough Road, yeah,
So we're,
so we use our monies there to either support the landowner
Right,
financially with some help, or to support the conservation
right,
land trust.
but not to procure easements.
No.
Well, no, no,
If we
I
had
think
more
it,
money, we would do it.
effectively we did. We agreed to paying, and some of that was going to cover. You know, we agreed to a payment for, I can't remember which one, but what's our funds down to now, though? It's not,
I think we're at about 75 to
Yeah.
80. So
I'm sure that's what Lincoln was referring to.
Yep.
It's where we spent some. And then like, look, there's not a whole lot we can do with 70, you know?
Yeah.
That's not,
Right, understood. Yeah,
that can go a great deal. If we conserved the 250 acres, the easement costs, the development costs would be pretty big,
Yeah.
for that. So, but it's not like buying the land, you know, it's
Right.
just development rights. That's the easement. Usually it's like you buy the development rights and then there's an easement cost, which is a legal process that where you take what the wording of how they want to have it protected and you put it into
Yeah.
a legal statement effectively of what landowners going forward are constrained by. But
I understand.
Yeah.
My thinking on this is that, you're right, there's probably not a single organization or individual who would afford, to buy this over a corporate development, group that might buy it from them. And the question is, but could we build a consortium of folks or interested parties, abutters,
you could,
conservation groups?
you
and The
could.
town for just, whatever this little piece is around.
That
Combined, perhaps maybe there is then, a way to find a better use for at least some of the lands than just, wholesale development.
That's a private organization, or it could be, but it's not the Concom. Could include Concom members.
We could help.
And the Concom could assist with that group,
Okay,
but that's not we don't do that ourselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are disappointed, but we don't go, that would. Normally, they're nonprofit organizations, and we're a government organization. It's different. Nonprofit organizations, which like Piscataqua and Nature Conservancy and Forest Society, they're, but citizens could start their own. It's not hard to make a nonprofit organization. And if you guys are interested, I know people who've done it.
we certainly, yeah.
But it's not Concom business, unfortunately.
Understood. Thank you for all that. Yeah. A lot of us are getting up to speed on what the, right tactic would be.
But if you guys did pull together some syndicate of people that wanted to purchase it and do conservation with it, we would work with.
If they want, if you're like, we don't know anything about easements, we don't know anything about development rights. It's like, well, that's when we would help. We could help with that,
Okay.
we help private organizations and or private citizens through that process. But and we can throw some money in it, not a whole lot, but some, for a big, something like the John Barry land, we put a lot because that's the biggest, that would be the biggest piece of land that we would have conserved if it was one thing. More than likely, I imagine this is going to, could be broken down and they'll develop one part and conserve one part. I mean,
But you should, if you guys, as a group of abutters, start organizing like that, you should, we can make an introduction to Chris Wells of PLC. He's a land trust, stuff like that. And then you start pulling people together because they have money. They have the ability to get money too. I mean,
I certainly would like to pursue that, and I'm sure others would as well. And I think we have an abutters group we mentioned.
yeah.
And I think there's a mix of interest within that group. Some people are happy just to, extend some of their lots and maybe have some land, which would be great because that would preserve it.
Sure.
But not maybe conserve it, which would even be better if we could find that kind of an attitude. And
So most of if they, there's so many options.
Right.
There's it's not like one size. People can donate their land to an entire organization, or it can remain in private ownership and and all that's sold is the development rights. And which would make it conserved. Or you could just, people could buy it and say, we're just going to leave it in current use and not conserve it at all, because with potentially developing it in the future, of course, it's like, well, all those things are private citizens options. I mean, given the owners have to be the ones you have to agree
It's
to
just a
what they're
diverse
doing.
set of interests, and
Yeah.
not to, forget about the Connellys who have a farming interest and potentially funding associated with that. Conservation technique as well, so there could be.
And conservation, there are agricultural conservation easements. There
Right.
doesn't have to be like no touch to the land, Forest Society, they do forest work on all their conservation land, almost all of it. There's agricultural conservation easements in Temple where people run their farm. They can't build brand new buildings, but they can do all manner of farming. So there's lots of options.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be even that solution could be broken up as the different parcels, so. So if we agree, we're going to send our edits for the document to Mike, and then what we might wish to talk, the piece that we would talk to, or, okay, is there more we need to discuss on this topic? I think we've beaten it a lot. So Scott, do you have anything more you want to say?
No, I mean, this is all great that everybody's learning what the roles, let's call them, and all that. This situation is so preliminary that all we're really trying to do is, number one, make sure we have some standing, that we're somehow we're engaged and copied or included, because, a developer would love to exclude us. Come from the point of view of like, oh yeah, let's all get together and talk about it. They would rather just skip every base possible. So it's an opportunity for us in this particular meeting to bullet point and talk about real concerns, not knowing much about what they plan, but that, in this early stage, we want to at least bring up these subjects. So that, no, you guys have done a really good job. The letter that was started concerning arsenic is excellent, but we have to add points about, other things, open space, wildlife, whatever.
Okay.
Their uses of the land,
Okay. Do you want somebody to write that up, or do you think you can get the open space and the other
Yeah,
things?
if you guys feed me the info, I'll add it into the letter. And
Okay,
then,
okay.
and then I
Yeah, we can just add it individually and then you piece it together as you
we
like.
can just do it, we can do it ad hoc.
Yeah.
During our public comment time period.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mean like who speaks?
Yeah, like I'll start it maybe, and then I'll flip.
Yeah, sure, that sounds
We
fine.
can do that ad hoc.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I think so.
And we'll speak as the Conservation Commission, not as citizens, individual citizens.
Since we've met now,
We've met.
yeah. Yes, now that we've met and discussed and shared, and we're going to make a document that we present, now we can speak as Concom
Yeah,
members.
so it'll be our initial position on this type of activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna say, we need that letter because my draft minutes from this meeting won't, I mean, they'll exist, but they'll be draft minutes, they won't have been approved.
until you have the
So
letter.
we can't, it's not gonna be that helpful. That letter is gonna be.
Yeah.
The.
Yeah, well, you
official
guys
letter.
give me some comments and I'll.
Okay, I'll get mine back to you today.
Yeah, okay.
Because you you're gonna want them soon, right?
I'll get
You have to do 24 hours or something, or?
No, for input. You can send them on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just send them before the meetings.
Oh, okay.
Time to upload them.
I'll get them to you Tuesday morning at the latest.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about on this topic? Any other topics? I motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Alan. Mark. Arlene.